Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Shila Prabhupada. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Shila Prabhupada. Jaya Guru Deva, Jaya Guru Deva, Guru Deva, Shila Guru Deva. Jayam Vishnupad Paramahansa Pariprajapacharya Stotras Sri Srimad Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai. ISKCON Founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Anantakoti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Prem Se Kaho Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Shamakunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhan Ki Jai. Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai. Navadvip Dham Ki Jai. Jamuna Mai Ki Jai. Ganga Mai Ki Jai. Tulsi Devi Ki Jai, Bhakti Devi Ki Jai, Samveta Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bo. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. So we shall read from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 2, Divinity and Divine Service, Text 18. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Bhaktidas, can you get the Bhagavatam from my table there? Because this one is... Nasta prayeshu abhadreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavat-yutama shloke bhaktir bhavati naistiki. Nasta prayeshu abhadreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavat-yutama shloke bhaktir bhavati naistiki. Nashta, destroyed. Prayeshu, almost to nil. Abhadreshu, all that is inauspicious. Nityam, regularly. Bhagavata, Srimad Bhagavatam, or the pure devotee. Sevaya, by serving. Bhagavati, unto the personality of Godhead. Uttama, transcendental. Shloke, prayers. Bhakti, loving service. Bhavati, comes into being. Naistiki, irrevocable, irrevocable. Translation: by regular attendance in classes on the Bhagavatam and by rendering of service to the pure devotee, all that is troublesome to the heart is almost completely destroyed. And loving service unto the personality of Godhead, who is praised with transcendental songs, is established as an irrevocable fact. This verse is very important, and it has a personal significance to me, because when we were serving Srila Prabhupada in India in 1971 in Calcutta, Srila Prabhupada was keeping us so busy in service that I didn't have time to read his books. And I was feeling guilty. So one day I was sitting in front of him in his room in Calcutta. That room is still there. And I didn't say anything about my not reading, but Srila Prabhupada must have read my mind. And he quoted this verse. And he said that by serving the person Bhagavat, you get the same result as by reading the book Bhagavat. And all the truths of the book Bhagavat will be revealed to you, even if you do not read the book. Of course, under ordinary circumstances, we do want to read the Bhagavatam. And in many letters, Srila Prabhupada advised his followers to read for 1 hour a day. Sometimes he recommended that we read for 3 hours a day. So we want to read. But at that time in India, Srila Prabhupada had us so fully engaged that I really didn't have time to read. And he quoted this verse, and he said that by serving the person Bhagavat, you get all the results of reading the book Bhagavat. And all the truths of the book Bhagavat will be revealed to you. And there's a related verse, Yasya Deve Parabhaktir Yata Deve Tataguro, that to one who has unflinching faith in the spiritual master and similar faith in the Supreme Personality of Godhead, all the truths of the Vedas are revealed. So now we'll read the purport by Srila Prabhupada. Here is the remedy for eliminating all inauspicious things within the heart, which are considered to be obstacles in the path of self-realization. So what are the inauspicious things in the heart of Vajreshri? The first is identifying with the body. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu praised Cheto Darpano Marjanam, that by performance of Sankirtan, the dirt is cleansed from the mirror of the mind or heart. And Srila Prabhupada raises the question, what are those dirty things? And the first dirty thing, or misconception, is identifying with the body. And once we identify with the body, we engage in so many activities for the benefit of the body or the senses. But actually, these activities are inauspicious. So, here is the remedy for eliminating all inauspicious things within the heart, which are considered to be obstacles in the path of self-realization. The remedy is the association of the Bhagavatas. There are two types of Bhagavatas, namely the book Bhagavata and the devotee Bhagavata. Both the Bhagavatas are competent remedies, and both of them, or either of them, can be good enough to eliminate the obstacles. A devotee Bhagavata is as good as the book Bhagavata, because the devotee Bhagavata leads his life in terms of the book Bhagavata. And the book Bhagavata is full of information about the personality of Godhead and his pure devotees, who are also Bhagavatas. Bhagavat book and person are identical. Now, it is important that we receive the book Bhagavata from the person Bhagavata. There was a poet from Bengal who came to Jagannath Puri to read his poetic composition to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And the rule was that anyone who wanted, to read a composition to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu first had to place it before Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's personal secretary, Swarup Damodar Goswami. So the poet from Bengal made mistakes in his poetry. And Swarup Damodar Goswami advised him, Bhagavata Gya Pora Bhagavata Stane. One should hear and study the Srimad Bhagavatam from the person Bhagavat. And he further advised him, Yaha Bhagavata Pada Vaishnavarastane Ekanta Ashraya Kara Chaitanya Charane. If you want to understand Srimad Bhagavatam, you must approach a self-realized Vaishnava and hear from him. So, and Srila Sanatana Goswami, quoting from the Padma Purana, advises, a Vaishnava Mukodgirnam Patam Harikatamritam Shravanam Naiva Kartavyam Saropishtam Yatapaya. One should not hear about Krishna from a non-Vaishnav. Harikatamritam. Hari means Krishna, Kata means talks, and Amrita means nectar. So talks about Krishna are nectar. But we should not hear such talks from non-Vaishnavas. One should not hear anything about Krishna from a non-Vaishnava. Milk touched by the lips of a serpent has poisonous effects. So milk is like nectar, but if it's touched by the lips of a serpent, that nectar becomes like poison. And similarly, talks about Krishna given by a non-Vaishnava are also poisonous. So now we come back to the purport. The devotee Bhagavata is a direct representative of Bhagavan, the personality of Godhead. So by pleasing the devotee Bhagavat, one can receive the benefit of the book Bhagavat. human reason fails to understand how by serving the devotee Bhagavat or the book Bhagavat, one gets gradual promotion on the path of devotion. But actually, these are facts explained by Srila Narada Dev, who happened to be a maidservant's son in his previous life. The maidservant was engaged in the menial service of the sages, and thus her son, Narada, also came into contact with them. And simply by associating with them and accepting the remnants of foodstuffs left by the sages, the son of the maidservant got the chance to become the great devotee and personality, Srila Narada Dev. These are the miraculous effects of the association of Bhagavatas. So here Srila Prabhupada gives a very vivid and powerful example of how Bhagavata Seva, serving the Bhagavatas, the pure devotees, can have miraculous effects. So much so that the boy Narada, just by serving the Bhagavatas, by taking the remnants of their foodstuffs and hearing their talks about Krishna, although coming from a very humble beginning, this boy became the great devotee Narada just by the association of Bhagavatas. And we can see in our own experience what was our position before we met Srila Prabhupada, the pure devotee, and how our lives became transformed or revolutionized by the service of the pure devotee, Srila Prabhupada. These are the miraculous effects of the association of Bhagavatas. And to understand these effects practically, it should be noted that by such sincere association of the Bhagavatas, one is sure to receive transcendental knowledge very easily. And the result is that he becomes fixed in the devotional service of the Lord. So this word, fixed, which Srila Prabhupada uses in the purport, refers to naistiki, irrevocable. There are different stages in the development of devotional service as enumerated by Srila Rupa Goswami in his Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Ado Shraddha Tata Sadhu Sangha Tabhajana Kriya. Tato Nartha Nivritti Syat Tato Nishta. Here we're discussing that stage of Nishta. Tato Nishta Ruchis Tata Ata Saktis Tato Bhavas Tata Premya Dudanchati Sadhakanam Ayam Premna Pradur Bhave Bhavet Krama. So ado shraddha, in the beginning there should be faith. Tata, thereafter, sadhu sangha, association with pure devotees. Ata bhajana kriya, performance of devotional service to Krishna. Tata anartha nivritti, the diminishing of all unwanted habits. So this anartha nivritti is achieved by the association of the Bhagavatas, by hearing Srimad Bhagavat, or reading the book Bhagavat and serving the person Bhagavat. That results in anartha nivritti, the eradication of anarthas, or unwanted habits or unwanted characteristics. Syat tata nishta, firm faith. And so this nishta, it's related to the word naistiki in the verse. Nishta being, well, it's a firm faith, which is so strong that one cannot be deviated. Srila Prabhupada gave the example of little Saraswati, who was the daughter of Shamsundar Prabhu and Malati Devi. She was just a little girl. And someone told her that she should not chant Hare Krishna, that she's just wasting her time by chanting. And that little girl, Saraswati, gave that man a slap in the face. And Srila Prabhupada cited that as an example of nishta, firm faith. She could not be deviated. So, yes. Then ruchi, taste. Then ashakti, attachment. Then bhava, ecstasy, and prema, pure love of Godhead. And Rupa Goswami says, pradur bhave bhavet krama. This is the chronological order of the stages of spiritual advancement in sadhaka, in the devotee practicing Krishna consciousness. But getting past anartha nivritti and coming to the stage of nishta is very important. Up until anartha nivritti, there are a lot of obstacles and struggles. But when one passes anartha nivritti and comes to nishta, then one is fixed, and then one's progress is clear. It's open. And as Srila Prabhupada says in the first sentence of the purport, here is the remedy for eliminating all inauspicious things within the heart, which are considered to be obstacles in the path of self-realization. So now coming back to the purport. After describing how Narada became so exalted just by associating with the Bhagavatas, serving them, taking the remnants of their food, hearing their talks about Srimad Bhagavatam. He became the great devotee and personality, Srila Narada. These are the miraculous effects of the association of Bhagavatas. And to understand these effects practically, it should be noted that by such sincere association of the Bhagavatas, one is sure to receive transcendental knowledge very easily, with the result that he becomes fixed in the devotional service of the Lord. Yes, when we have transcendental knowledge, we become fixed. No more wavering or oscillating between material life and spiritual life. The more progress is made in devotional service under the guidance of the Bhagavatas, the more one becomes fixed in the transcendental loving service of the Lord. The messages of the book Bhagavat, therefore, have to be received from the devotee Bhagavata. This we have discussed. In the positive sense, quoting Srila Swarup Damodar Goswami, that one should hear the book Bhagavat from the person Bhagavat. And on the negative side, from the Padma Purana, as quoted by Srila Sanatana Goswami, that one should not hear from a non-Vaishnava. The messages of the book Bhagavat, therefore, have to be received from the devotee Bhagavat. And the combination of these two Bhagavatas will help the neophyte devotee to make progress on and on. On and on, it implies through these different stages, Nishta, Ruchi, Shakti, Bhava, and ultimately Prema, which is our goal. Prema Pumartho Mahan. It is the ultimate goal of life, Krishna Prema. So now we have some time left, and we can take questions and comments. The participants, of course, they may have been sending their questions in the chat box, but still, I would say you can raise your hand, your physical hand or your virtual hand, and we will be happy to hear from you and respond to you.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Thank you very much for the wonderful class. I am reading out the questions typed in by the devotees in the chat. Vrindavan Chandra Prabhu, he is asking, Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj, why does the verse say almost completely eradicated? It almost indicates that service to the person Bhagavad is not powerful enough to remove all unwanted things in the heart, which we know cannot be true. So his question is, why does the verse say almost completely eradicated?
Yes, because we're discussing different stages of advancement, and this verse relates to the stage of Nishta. And at this stage, Srila Prabhupada translates that almost to nil as 75%. So at this stage, it's good. It's good, almost to nil. Praya. Praya means almost. Nashta prayeshu. Abhadrashu. All that is inauspicious in the heart is destroyed almost to nil. And by passing through this stage, then one will proceed to the next stages. And in the subsequent stages, the remaining 25% will be destroyed, will be eradicated. It's a good question.
Thank you very much, Maharaj. Malati Mataji is asking, Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj, I wanted to ask a question. You said that the first step to self-realization is not to identify with one's body, but we see that till the last breath, we are attached to the body. How do we see, how do we see this, how it is the first step?
Well, as Sri Prahlad says, Nate vidu swarthagatim Vishnu, that people do not know what their real self-interest is. It's natural to be concerned with one's self-interest, but one should know what one's self is. You know, is it the body or is it the soul within the body? Well, it's, of course, we know it's the soul within the body. That's our real self. And therefore, our self-interest is to act for the benefit of the soul, which really means to connect the soul through yoga. Here we were discussing anarthas. Anarthopasamam shakshat bhakti yogam adhokshike. That all anarthas can be destroyed through the linking process of devotional service. So, I mean, yes, we may be attached to the body, but because you know you're not the body, therefore you are endeavoring to make progress in spiritual life. If you thought you were the body, you wouldn't be interested in spiritual life. You'd be interested in material life. And then again, why are you attached to the body? Are you attached for sense gratification or are you attached for devotional service? Because the body is the means through which we serve Krishna. And as Srila Prabhupada often said, we want to keep the body and soul together. We want to keep the body fit for serving Krishna. So being attached to the body is not bad if it's ultimately attachment for Krishna's service, which I'm sure it is in your case. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So I have unmuted the participants and I've asked them to raise their hand to ask question.
Good.
So I would request Kajal Mataji to ask her question. Kajal Mataji.
Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj, please accept my most respectful obeisances onto your lotus feet. Guru Maharaj, you were talking about attachment to the body. Guru Maharaj, I feel I am very much attached to like not only my body but maybe material happiness or things like that. So at times I am very afraid of uh, having like getting hurt or suffering in life. So I that causes a lot of hindrance in my spiritual life. Like many times I just don't engage in some kind of sevas because I think I might not be good at them, and I don't want to like get hurt. So how can I let go of this fear of you know suffering so that it does not cause hindrance in my life? Sorry, the question was a lot confusing, but sorry.
Well, there's two parts of the question. One is you're afraid that you won't be good enough,
Yes,
and
yes.
that is not. Of course, we want to do the best we can, but we cannot wait until we come to the stage of super excellence. As His Holiness Tamal Krishna Goswami used to say, the worst round you chant is better than the best round you don't chant. So just do what you can, do the best you can, and do it. As far as being afraid of getting hurt, what do you mean by that?
I, I it simply means, Guru Maharaj, that I don't want any negative experience in my life. I only want to have the positive one. So
Well, that's natural. That's natural. But for that, you'll have to go back to Godhead. Because as long as you're in the material world, there is duality. You know, pleasure and pain, happiness and distress. You can't avoid it. And therefore, Krishna advises in the Bhagavad Gita, titikshasva bharata, you have to tolerate. There will be dualities, and you have to tolerate and go on with your devotional service.
thank you, Guru Maharaj.
Hare Krishna.
Hare
Oh, Omkar has his hand up.
Hare Krishna, Maharaj.
Hare Krishna.
Pranat Pranam, Maharaj. Maharaj, I had the question that how can we get the association of Bhagavatas and serve them sincerely? Because sometimes we may get, but at the same time we may not serve sincerely. And it's so difficult to get the association of such devotees also.
Okay.
So how should we
Teaching and
get such
learning
association?
still goes ahead with minimal interruptions.
Omkar, can you put on your camera?
Yes, Maharaj.
Okay.
Yes, Maharaj. Yes.
So now, can you repeat your question?
Maharaj, I was saying that how can we get the association of Bhagavatas and serve them sincerely?
Okay. Where are you geographically?
I am in Pune.
Pune.
Yes,
There are plenty of Bhagavatas in Pune.
yes, Maharaj. But the point is sincerity lacks.
Yes, sincerity. Well, Srila Prabhupada has given two answers to that question of how to be sincere or become sincere. One answer was to follow all of the instructions of the spiritual master, however big or small. So that should be the first thing. And the other answer he gave was to associate with devotees who are sincere. And I'm sure you can find many sincere devotees there.
Yes.
So yeah, associate with them and you'll become more sincere.
Yes,
I
Maharaj.
don't say that you're not sincere, but just based on the way you phrase the question, you can become sincere by associating with sincere devotees and by following all the instructions of the spiritual master, however big or small.
Yes, Maharaj. Thank you,
Okay,
Maharaj.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Are there any more questions or comments?
Hare Krishna Maharaj. There is one question by Kartiki Mataji. She says,
Okay.
Krishna is all pure and absolute, then how, in the serpent example, the Bhagavad Katha becomes poison when heard from non-devotee? Please share some insights.
I would repeat the same point that that milk is like nectar, but if it's touched by the lips of a serpent, the milk causes poisonous effects. So it's true. Harikatamrita, the talks about Krishna are nectar, but they should not be heard from non-devotees. And and generally, of course, there are different categories of non-devotees, but a common category, because some of them who are gross materialists, they won't be interested in Harikatha. So generally, the non-devotees who are interested in Harikatha are Mayavadis. And, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, Mayavadi Basya Suni Sarvahailanasha, that by hearing the commentaries of the Mayavadis, one's spiritual understanding is destroyed. So, yeah, Harikatha is nectar, but the Mayavadis will present it in such a way that ultimately there's no Krishna. That ultimately, you become God or something like that. And that's bad. We don't want to hear that. I remember reading a letter from Srila Prabhupada before he came to America and began ISKCON. While he was in India, a Mayavadi was giving a Bhagavat Saptaha in Bombay. And the Mayavadi invited Srila Prabhupada to come and attend. And Srila Prabhupada wrote him that not only will I not attend, but I will tell everyone else I know not to attend. Because we don't want to hear from Mayavadis. Yeah. So that's, I would say, the main context in which the injunction applies, not to hear from non-devotees.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
As there is one question. Korostova Mataji, can you ask your question?
Hare Krishna, Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances. Do you hear me?
Yes, yes.
I just reject my questions, but it happens. Okay, then I just want to comment. If we are reading or listening Srila Prabhupada's lectures, it is the same way to self-awareness. Yes, it means that regarding this text from Bhagavat, how can we manage this? We can read the Bhagavat and also listening Srila Prabhupada's lectures, your lectures, and other devotees' lectures also, senior devotees. Yes, it is the same way.
Yes. As you know, there are two ways of associating. Vani, which means by sound or words, and Vapu, which means by body or physical association. And by reading Srila Prabhupada's books, hearing his lectures, or those of other devotees following Srila Prabhupada, you are associating with them by Vani. And as Srila Prabhupada says, Vapu may or may not be available, but Vani is always there. Yes.
Hare Krishna, thank you very much.
Hare Krishna. Jai.
Hare Krishna. Maharaj, can we have a couple of more questions?
Yes.
So, Shobha Radha Mataji, can you ask a question? Shobha Radha Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Guru Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to your divine lotus feet. I had a question. You said that we should not listen or listen about Krishna from non-devotees. Today I had gone to a family's place, a family where there were non-devotees, and I was discussing with them about Krishna. One of the Mataji is very interested in Krishna consciousness. So is that okay when you are telling them about Krishna consciousness and you do discuss with them about Krishna, and there's like the others are non-devotees, is it okay to talk to them about Krishna and listen to them about Krishna?
Yes. I mean, what we want to avoid is hearing discourses from non-devotees. But if you meet with non-devotees to tell them about Krishna, and of course there will be naturally some discussion, so that hearing from non-devotees is not prohibited because you're just conversing with them. And that's how non-devotees become devotees.
But there are times that they say things which are not Krishna conscious, which is about Krishna. Is that okay to hear while we are preaching? Even though we tell them about Krishna conscious, but there are times that they say things which are not Krishna conscious. Is that fine?
Well, of course they'll say things that are not Krishna conscious because they're not devotees yet, but you're trying to make them devotees.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Is there any other question any devotee would like to ask? We can have one final question before we end the session. Anybody Malati Mataji, can you ask?
Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj.
Hare
Your
Krishna.
excellent obeisances. This is the best topic you spoke about. Thank you so much for the wonderful class. Guru Maharaj, actually, if I go to see that I am too attached to the personal Bhagavat rather than reading the book Bhagavat, because knowledge is very far away from my this, that I can't understand most of the things. I try to do it because I know the process that through serving the person Bhagavat, all the knowledge will be revealed unto me. So I am just following one aspect of devotion service, that is serving the person Bhagavat. I am not attached to Krishna, I am not attached to Radharani. I do things which are like only for the whole parampara. If I go to see for the whole day, I sing Sadgoswami Ashtaga, I am attached to Nityanand Prabhu, but Krishna is very far away from me. So I just have one aspect. So what is my position?
Your position is very fortunate. You are attached to serving the person Bhagavat. But the person Bhagavat will also tell you the book Bhagavat. So serving the person Bhagavat doesn't mean just, cooking for him or whatever, but it means following his instructions. So if the person Bhagavat tells you to read the book Bhagavat, then that's also service to the person Bhagavat, to read the book Bhagavat. And you should. You should.
Yes, Guru Maharaj. Thank you so much. I read, but I don't understand. That's the only thing. It doesn't remain in my mind for a longer period of time. I have to, that's why I hear more rather than reading. I can just read for an hour or so, Guru Maharaj, but not more than that. I can hear and better understand much better, Guru Maharaj.
Okay. That's a good balance. Yeah, that's all right. If you improve your japa, you might be able to retain what you read better. Because, that will help you. Chekam Darpano Marjanam, cleanse the mirror of the mind. And, that will help you to remember what you read. And repeating what you read, you get realizations when you repeat what you read. Okay.
Thank you, Guru Maharaj. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Hede Mataji. Hede Mataji, can you ask?
Okay.
Yeah,
Hare Krishna.
I just want to introduce you a little. That Hedi is from Iran. She's a very wealthy in Iran.
Thank you. Hare Krishna. Please accept my humble obeisances at your lotus feet. Do you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Maharaj, today we talked about something that I wanted to explain to you. Is it correct or not? And the question was that I said to the other devotees that whenever we consider someone as a parcel of God, is that we is meaning that we are serving to that person. Is it correct? Whenever we think is it Do you need more explanation, or is it enough?
You're saying that you see everyone as part and parcel of God.
Yes.
That's nice. That's true.
Because we talked about Ananda, that relation, making relation brings you Ananda. Then I said that whenever we think, whenever we consider someone as a parcel of Krishna, we are making relation and we are serving, actually, both of at the same time. Is it correct? Maybe we don't serve someone. We don't serve someone by I don't know what to say, but just thinking he or she is a parcel of God, just this.
Well, that's good to see everyone as part and parcel of God. And, to want to serve others is also good. And of course, the best service will be to bring them to Krishna. And you do that. You do a lot of prasad distribution there, which is a good service. So, I think that's fine.
Actually, I mean that. Sorry, because my English is not very well. But I mean that whenever you think someone or every living being entity is a parcel of Krishna, is it a serving?
Is
it a devotional service? Just thinking, thinking.
I would say yes. I would say yes. Because of the 9 processes of devotional service, the third is remembering. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, Smaranam. So if you're seeing people as part and parcel of Krishna, that means you're remembering Krishna. And that's one of the items of devotional service.
Yeah, and as also, is it a making relation? Because we talked about Ananda, and we said that Ananda just a result of making relation and serving. And I said both of them is happening when you think someone is a parcel of Krishna. Making relation as remembering.
Yeah, if you make a relationship with the devotee, then there will be Ananda. Yeah, if you make a relationship with Krishna, or you make a relationship with Krishna's devotees, there will be Ananda.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Ayushi Mataji.
Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj. Please accept my humble obeisances.
Hare Krishna.
Guru Maharaj, I have a question. Like the analogy you told, a milk touched by a serpent becomes poisonous, has poisonous effect. So let's say that we are new to a place and we unknowingly visit a temple which is named as Krishna Balaram temple, but that is maintained by Ritviks. So
maintained by who?
Ritviks.
Oh, Ritviks.
Yeah.
Okay.
So and we do not know that it is maintained by them. Like I will give you an example. 2 or 3 years ago, I went to Vrindavan, and a devotee was wearing saffron dress, and he was selling some books, and he was telling that it is from BBT. And I went to him and I told him that I wish to purchase few books from you, just because I wanted to serve him like that, and I wanted to read more books. So he's in the middle of the conversation, he started speaking things which were not very good. He told me that earlier I was a part of ISKCON, and now I am a part of BV Narayan Goswami Maharaj. We are followers of them, and it is good. It is comparatively good to be a follower of BV Narayan Goswami. There are so many things that are not going good in ISKCON. So I was actually not willing to hear from him. I wanted to escape, but I could not understand that what should I do at that particular moment. So Guru Maharaj, there are instances where people are wearing saffron, and they are wearing tilak, Vaishnava tilak, and we of course do not want to disobey them, but they will speak such things. Of course they worship Krishna, but their philosophy is little uh, uh, not good, because they are Ritviks. So what should we what our attitude should be at those moments, Guru Maharaj?
Well, we should be polite. We don't want to offend anyone, but we should avoid their association. If their association is not favorable for our devotion to Srila Prabhupada and ISKCON, then we should avoid their association. Yeah, Rupa Goswami gives advice, about how to respect different grades of devotees. And there are some devotees to whom we offer respect from a distance. We respect them, but we keep a distance. And sometimes we have to do that, even with devotees of sorts, who worship Krishna. But they're not in our line. They're not favorable to our mood of service, following Srila Prabhupada, so we avoid them as far as possible.
Thank you, Guru Maharaj.
Hare Krishna.
There's Sahajiyas, they're also devotees of sorts, but we avoid them.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
So we are moving towards the end of our session here, and we would like to thank everybody, all of you, for joining in for wonderful Sangha with His Holiness Giriraj Swami Maharaj. And I am also very, very grateful on behalf of ISKCON Bhagavata Mahavidyalaya at Govardhan. We are an educational wing of ISKCON situated at Govardhan Dham. And vedvarsity.com is our online initiative where we offer various online courses. So I request all of you to kindly go and check out our website for wonderful courses which are offered by learned and experienced senior Vaishnavas. And once again, I'm very, very grateful, and I would like to thank His Holiness Giriraj Maharaj for giving your wonderful association and enlightening us about how to serve a personal Bhagavat. Maharaj very nicely explained from his own realizations and from the teachings of Srila Prabhupada. And he wonderfully answered all the queries. So we are very, very thankful to you, Maharaj. And we hope and pray that you will continue to give us regular association in the future as well, Maharaj. So let us all thank Maharaj once by chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Hare Krishna, Hare
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Hare,
Hare Ram,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Ram,
Hare
Ram
Rama,
Ram,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Hare.
Hare Hare. Jai Guru Maharaj
Thank you,
ki
Guru
jai.
Maharaj.
Jai.
Thank you,
Thank
Guru
you, Guru
Maharaj.
Maharaj.